What is up, FBG fam? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Tower Fantasy video. So in today's video, I did want to talk about Claudia, Cobalt, Frigg, all the things that are surrounding these simulacras and probably future simulacras that come out down the line. I did want to go ahead and talk about it because I know some people want me to address what they consider buffs and nerfs and what I consider to be rebalances and just give my thoughts on the whole subject. So I do hope you enjoyed today's video. I don't normally do videos like this, so let me know if you enjoy this. I usually like to stick to guides and helping you guys out and just having fun, but I know people are concerned about it, so just gonna give my thoughts. Hopefully I can do it quickly and precisely for you, and let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know your opinion. So I did want to go ahead and address the whole buffs, nerfs, and once again what I consider to be rebalance. So what's happening with these simulacras, I don't consider them to be buffs and I don't consider them to be nerfs. I do consider them to be rebalances, and here's the reason why. So the reason why I consider them to be rebalances is because I know some of these simulacras on the CN version are a bit overpowered and a tad bit overtuned to where they're not making the game that enjoyable, and there are some power creep that's happening. So I believe what the global devs did is they went ahead and they looked at what's happening on the CN version and they took into account feedback that probably CN players have been providing and decided to do something about it on the global side. They took all of that information and data and decided to go ahead and rebalance these simulacras for the global side so there's not as much power creep. These simulacras aren't as overpowered and overtuned. And in turn, they went ahead and did that for all of global. What I mean by that is world bosses and enemies as well, to where the global side is, for the most part, completely different than the CN version. And to have a comparison, I don't believe is accurate because it's not a one-to-one comparison. We're not comparing apples to apples here because the global side is different from the CN version because of all the rebalances that they did. So that is what I believe is going on. That's why I consider it to be a rebalance. I don't consider it to be a buff and I don't consider it to be a nerf because I'm looking at these simulacras on the versions that they're on and I'm not comparing it to the other versions. So when I'm looking at global Frigg, I'm only comparing it to the global side. I'm not comparing global Frigg to the CN Frigg because they're never going to interact. You're never going to have a global Frigg fight a CN Frigg. It's just not going to happen. So you don't have a buff and nerf there. You just have a simple rebalance of what was going on the CN side. So that way there's not this overpowered, overtuned simulacra happening on the global side. So that is kind of my 2 cents on the matter when it comes to buffs, nerfs, and rebalance. And that kind of leads me into speaking about these simulacras, Claudia, Cobalt, and Frigg, specifically Frigg. Now, I've mentioned this before, and if you've been on my channel, you've seen gameplay, and if you're new to the channel, I've had hands-on experience with Frigg on the global side due to the closed test client, and I can assure you she is fine, and this will go the same for Claudia, and this will go the same for Cobalt. I can assure you that these simulacras are going to be fine. Usually the individuals that are dismissing a simulacra right off the bat because they see differences and they see rebalances and the skill damage and the percentages are slightly lower than the CN version are usually individuals that don't have hands-on experience with these simulacras. They haven't been able to try them out. They haven't been able to use them in game, but they see these changes on paper and they instantly think that these simulacras are trash, dismiss them automatically and say that they are not useful, to skip them and to save for a future simulacra. And I can't tell you how wrong that can be. Once again, I've had hands-on experience with Frigg. I've been using Frigg extensively in many different team comps with many different team builds, and Frigg feels great. Listen, I'm going to be pulling for Frigg. I want to put a team or Frost team together. I'm excited for Frigg to release, so I'm going to be pulling for her regardless because I know how good she is. She's going to be fine when she releases, and that's going to go the same for Cobalt. I know people are concerned about Cobalt, and that's going to be the same for Claudia, and I know people are not as concerned about Claudia, but these simulacras are going to be fine. They're going to be great when they release. You have nothing to worry about. They're getting rebalanced, so that way they're not overtuned and overpowered. In the same video, I did also want to talk about and address the resonance and what I believe is going to happen here, because I know people are concerned that, for example, Frigg is going to get the Frost Resonance but lost a part of the skill damage in the kit. Same with Cobalt. People are concerned that Cobalt had some damage reduction, but is getting the flame resonance, and how is that going to interact with future simulacras that come out down the line that have the resonance as well. For example, Saki having a frost resonance and Ruby having the flame resonance. Here is my thought on this, and you guys let me know what you think. So I believe the reason why the global side is adding the frost resonance and flame resonance to Cobalt is to, one, not only have access to it earlier so you can build good teams early, but I believe it's going to lead to diversity. And what I mean by that is, on the CN side, if you wanted the frost resonance, you had to pull for Saki. You had no choice. Now, I still believe Saki and Ruby are going to come out with the resonance, and the other characters that have resonance will maintain or retain the resonance as well when they come out. I don't think that they're going to be removed, but what I think this is going to do is lead to diversity. And what I mean by that is, if you wanted to build a frost team and wanted the frost resonance, but you did not like Saki as a simulacra, as a character, which I'm not sure why you would, but I'm just saying there might be some people out there that didn't. Or for example, Ruby, but you had to pull for them because you needed the resonance. You had no choice because they were the only simulacras that had it. I think what's going to happen on the global side is now you have a choice of what you want to do. So if you don't like Saki, well, you have Frigg that has the frost resonance. Or if you don't like Ruby, well, you have Cobalt that has the flame resonance. You have a choice now. And you can choose who do you want to use, or put the team together and you just have resonance all around. Now, I know that leads to some people saying, well, if that's the case, if, you know, Saki does come out with the resonance, then that is a nerf to Frigg. And I do see where you're coming from, but at the same time, having the resonance on Frigg outweighs that bit of damage that you're losing within the skill. And once again, everything's getting rebalanced in global, so I don't think it's even that noticeable. And then once again, it leads to more team diversities and team builds, and you're not stuck needing to pull for a said simulacra just because they're the only ones that carry the resonance. Hopefully that makes sense. Once again, I do understand what people are stating, that it doesn't, you know, it's a inherent nerf then, but at the same time, I believe I would rather have more diversity and a freedom of team build choice rather than having a little extra damage. That's just my thought on it. And that's going to be a quick transition in talking about future simulacras like Saki, Ruby, Lin, and others that are going to be coming out. I can assure you right now that the other simulacras will get a rebalance in some way. They will be changed in some form or fashion. So if you're telling people to skip a simulacra like Cobalt or Frigg and to save for a future one because they're overpowered or they're much better, well, you don't know that for sure. I believe that all of these simulacras are going to be changed in some way. They're going to be rebalanced in some way. We just don't know how. But you can't go based off of the CN version, because we now know that global is going in a completely different direction, and they are trying to separate themselves in terms of learning what happened on CN, providing the feedback that has been shown, and implementing it within the global side. So anything can happen and anything can change. We're just going to have to wait and see, but you shouldn't be too reliant on that. I think as a player on the global side, especially as a free-to-play player, I mentioned this before, the way you should be pulling for these simulacras is to decide what type of teams you want to put together and focus on that. So if you want Frost, then focus on getting Frigg and Saki and Lin. Or if you want the Volt, then focus on getting Nemesis right now, and then getting, you know, another good Volt character like Crow or Samir, and then waiting for a Tianlang down the line. Or if you want to make sure you're well-rounded, make sure you pick up a Lin, and if you're interested in the Flame Resonance, go for Cobalt and Ruby. So that's how I believe you should be prioritizing and focusing and going about building your teams and what simulacras to go for when they're being introduced. But not only that, you know, you always have the ability to be patient and wait for content creators to do their reviews and wait for content creators to test simulacras. You have plenty of time. Just let them do their reviews, let them do their testing, and then see what they have to say. And if after that you feel good about it, then go for them. If not, then continue to save for the simulacra that you like and really enjoy. For example, people keep stating that Frigg is going to be terrible, but that's not going to deter me personally from going for Frigg, because I want to build a nice Frost team, and Frigg is going to be a pretty good integral part of it, as well as with Saki. And Lynn, because I find all three of those simulacras to be amazingly cool and fun and interesting and strong. Same with the next team that I plan on building. So I plan on building the Frost team, and then I plan on building a physical team. That's why I'm super excited about Claudia, because Claudia looks amazing. She has one of the best character designs in the game, has some amazing animations, and I'm going to pair that with, you know, simulacra like Shido and Lyra down the road, because I find Lyra to be extremely cool as well. I find Lyra to be interesting, and cannot wait for that simulacra to come out, and that will be a physical team for me. And then my third team is probably going to be a Volt team, since I have Nemesis and Samir. But Tianling looks amazing. I believe we will be getting the collab characters at some point in time. So Bayuki is right up my alley in terms of character design. So that's the way I approach the teams, and how I approach which simulacras I'm going to be pulling for. And maybe that can help you implement the same, right? And then once again, you can wait and see what content creators have to say and do their reviews and testing of these simulacras, which once again, you don't have to pull right away. You can wait. But anyways, guys, that's just kind of my thoughts on the matter. My thoughts on, you know, whether these are buffs or nerfs, or rebalances. Once again, I just think they're rebalances. I think that's going to happen for future simulacras down the line. I think it's going to continue happening for the global side. And let me leave off by stating, I think this is overall a good thing. I think it is a good thing that they are rebalancing global and not, you know, having one simulacra be overpowered and then you're stuck in a certain meta to where you have to have specific simulacras and you can't choose different ones and do unique team builds. You have to go with a said simulacra because that one is overpowered, overtuned, and rocking the meta, right? I'm glad that they're making these changes. I'm glad they're putting resonances on certain simulacras so that way you're not stuck having to pull one. It just leads to more diversity. It leads to more fun. It leads to being more creative at the end of the day. But anyways, guys, I'm kind of rambling now. I'm kind of ranting just a tad bit. So I'm going to leave it on that. Hopefully you guys have a clear understanding of my thoughts. Hopefully this helps in any type of way. If you were confused on what's going on or not sure what to think, hopefully this might help you. But I'm going to get on out of here. I'm excited about Frigg on September 1st. I did want to mention I am going to be going live for Frigg pulls, Frigg testing, live on September 1st. Should be a really, really good time. I hope to see you all out there. But anyways, I'm going to get on out of here. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name is Cody, but you can call me further. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.